Joseph Shoma Etsebi. I'm the anchor for today. And by my side is my partner, my wife, and she's going to be hosting this edition with me. So today's edition is a very important one. And so I intentionally want us to understand that there's going to be a lot of exposures from a very young perspective because we have our singles in the house. And so please hold on to your device and be sure that today is going to shift you or create a mind shift around where you are. So our topic today is very important because it talks about our environment, it talks about our personalities, and it talks about our system so that you can be able to get to where you want to go to get to in life. So I have my guests in the house, and first of all, before I introduce my guest, I would like my co-host to introduce herself. Maybe I'll be welcome.
Thank you. Hi, viewers. My name is Mabel. I want to welcome you to another edition once again. I want to thank you so much for all your comments, all your likes. I want to say thank you. Thank you for watching us. Thank you for always being there for us. Welcome you to another edition today. And we believe that you're going to enjoy today's edition. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Modem. And just like you have said, you are going to enjoy this. I hope you're set.
Yes.
All right, today we're talking about too close to commit. Too close to commit. And let me not begin to unpack because I may not have 100% of this perspective, but I believe there are people in this house today that's going to tear you to the point where you will just be glued to the TV until the end. And so, from my left and to your right, I have a very important sister. She's going to introduce herself because I just know her first name, and that her first name is something that I will say to you now. And she will introduce herself, what she does, and single sister. So, Sister Mayo, welcome.
Hi everybody,
Just
my
rest.
name is Moyosore and
All right, you're welcome. Hope you have enough for us today. No, don't worry. We're not just kidding. It's something you know about already. I hope you get more from it. All right, you're welcome. Now, to my right, I have my brother Angela Olua. Please speak to the audience.
Okay, my name is Angela Oluwa. During the day, I'm a banker. At night, I'm a product designer,
Okay.
and I'm just someone that love a good conversation. That's
All
just
right,
all about me.
all right. I also have the perspective that you are actually said.
You're
Well, let's
welcome.
see what happens.
All right, all right, all right. Thank you very much. Welcome, sir. And to my extreme right, I have my wonderful sister, Anike. That's what I know her. So you can introduce yourself. Welcome.
Thank you. Hi everyone, my name is Benito Ajani, Ayike, as I said. A fashion designer, I'm an underwriter, I'm an actor. Thank you.
Full package. You're welcome.
You're
So I'm so
welcome.
glad you guys are here. And just like I said, I have a lot of expectations, and I also know that our audience have a lot of expectations. You know, I've had situations like this morning. Someone called me, and a guy called me and said, "I need a partner. I want to get married. I just, you know, I've had such discussions before, and so I know that among the young people, there are perceptions about relationships, and if we don't talk about them, there's a wrong perception that the world. See, there's something I wrote last week, and what I wrote is that the world is defining a new world for us, and we are living it. Even the church is living it.
Yeah.
And so, until we begin to tell our own stories and create our own perspective, the world will be the one to tell us what to do, and we must change that. That's why I say each time I have someone on my set, I said, I hope you have enough, because it's not just a podcast; it's a place where you create momentum, where you create an atmosphere where people can thrive on after you have gone. Because this video will be on the net for hundreds of years. You understand? Except that platform is on. So we create an atmosphere where people will say, okay, so this person said this thing at the time, and you don't know. So I'm happy you guys are here, and I please I beg you, do all you can to change the perspective. Thank you very much. So once again, I welcome you. And so I'm going to start from my extreme right. Now, I want to ask you.
Holy Spirit, help me.
I want to ask you a very simple. I want you to kickstart the discussion. Too close to comment. Is it possible somebody will be so close to you and you don't know how valuable they are to you?
That they are to me, or maybe I am to them. It can be either
It can be both ways.
It's very possible. Over time, you must have heard people saying, "Oh, we're just friends. Oh, he's my friend. We're too
Friend zone.
close." And you're not seeing what is right in front of you.
Sure.
And you're just thinking, "Oh, I'm not even going to lie, I'm a lady. I'm an African lady, I'm a Nigerian lady." We also have that perspective or perspection or idea of you should be the one to come and talk to me. As a matter of fact, it has happened to me before. I'm like, yes, you are friends. I like him. I know he likes me. But I didn't say anything. This particular person today is married. Yes. The funny thing is, we are still friends. Okay, we lost contact for a while. But one day I was somewhere around Sweden and I thought I heard somebody running after me and shouting my name. I turned back and it was this person. I was so happy to see him. He was so happy to see me. And I mean, we reconnected, and I realized it was my what happened? I know you liked me back then. I like you too, but you never said anything. So we were so close. We were so close to the point that if somebody toast me today, I would tell you. He was in my space. We know we liked each other. But he didn't say anything. We were that close that he knows virtually literally anything about me.
So is it possible? Okay, you want to go ahead.
But do you know, is there anything wrong if you approach him first?
That's where I'm going because see, I believe environment has a way of influencing our decisions. I believe because you're an African woman, because
that's why I started with those words, like I'm an African Nigerian lady. But then the narratives are changing. I can tell you for a fact today that if we were to turn back the hands of time, for what I know today, I would have thought. But back then, I just feel like, no, you shouldn't.
That's what I said. You remember I said that we're involved.
Yes.
Even the people that would have condemned you then, they know better now. You understand me? So the African setting has a way of boxing us into a corner to make us believe that. They are no, it's culture. It's culture. It's culture.
But aside culture, do men actually want to, like, do men want the ladies to hit on them? Would you want a lady to come and tell you, oh,
I like you,
and all of those things?
Okay, what you need to understand is when it comes to love, there's no manual to love.
Wow.
We only have a guide that is the Bible. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? And so they used to say different folks, different strokes, right? It depends on the level of our friendship. One, you need to consider that. So some guys will feel that, okay, let me elaborate on that. If I approach you and it doesn't go well, that may lead to the end of the friendship,
Okay.
right? So instead of losing the full package, we tend to like sacrifice just for our view. That's one. Then two, I think ladies do not make it easier because they keep hammering on the friend zone. No, 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 no. How can I like you're my friend? We've known each other for a long period
And sometimes it seems
of
as
time.
if they don't actually mean what they're saying.
Sometimes it's when the person is taken that they realize that, I
like
liked him.
Yeah.
Because I've seen scenarios that guys will be friends with ladies and he's my bestie, she's my bestie, she's my bestie. When the person now gets married, you see them crying. Like it happens to my friend. I was like, are you for real? Are you okay? But you told me he was a friend. So why are you crying? He said, I have something very deep. Are you okay? But you would have just said it. He said,
Yeah.
like you said, I'm an African woman. So you see this African thing. Let's just try and it's not changing. You just have to make use of your head. Do you understand?
So now we talk about all these things, and it seems so easy. I want us to dig deep into our environmental situation in this issue because, as much as marriage is between two people, it still boils down to your families, your friends, perceptions. You bring a guy to your mom, and even there, without knowing the guy or the lady, they will tell you, "I don't like this guy.
Is this kind of thing
You
want to
understand?
do?
Imagine you tell your best friend as a guy, you tell your best friend, that lady asked me on my hand. And the guy will tell you, oh, yeah, you understand, she has given up on herself. And before you know, even though your mind is there, so there are environmental influence in this situation. You understand what I'm saying? As a guy, what would you think? What would you say if such things happen? You know, maybe a lady that you guys have been together for some time, and something like that happen. Now, you know, normally guys discuss
environmental familiarity.
So familiarity, no, that's not familiarity. Your friends, your circle, peer groups, you know, they will just talk to them and say, see what happened, and they begin to, you know, I'm a difficult person. What I want is what I want, no matter what you say to me. I'm very difficult. The only thing that can change my mind is God. If I tell you I want this thing, don't pressure me into doing another thing, even as a married man. You understand? So what I did to myself before I got married was I actually told myself that I'm not going to make things difficult for myself. Because I believe my marriage is about me, it's not about anybody. You understand me? So I also believe that as men, because I also see this person that called me this morning, it's a guy. I have 3 of them like that. Till now, they're not married.
I see, I have guys too that are looking for.
So it's not about ladies. Most times, ladies think it's about them. No, guys are having it. The guys that called me this morning.
These days, I discovered that the guys are the ones searching for women.
And they don't they have ladies around them?
They have ladies around them, but they will tell me
in their streets, in their church.
Yes, no, they tell me, no, I don't like her. But you know why I like her for? Let's go out, let's chat, but I can't marry her. So why is it that you can go out with a lady, but you can't marry her? Why?
Okay, so let's ask again.
Okay, for me, I think excitement is loud, but attraction is calm. In the sense that for we guys, we know what we want. Do you understand? We can flex with a lady.
Ladies, you are here, so just say you don't know what you want.
We can flex with a lady. We can go clubbing 24/7. We can buy drink, fly her out, and rest. But if you do not fit into the vision we have for our life, we'll walk away. And most of the time, we'll walk away either ghosting you or she has an experience.
See, that's I don't know what annoys me more than ghosting, because I feel like it's okay to be mature enough to be like, it's not going to work.
Let's quit.
But you don't want to watch.
No, there's
you know
something is hurting the person. Do you realize?
It hurts more to just see that someone that you used to talk, you used to be friends. You are calling them, you are messaging, and you're not replying, you're not responding.
But there are different.
Then you're feeling, what did I do wrong? Instead of just sit them down and say, babe, you both know that this is not going anywhere. This cannot work. I like you. I know you like me, but can we let us look past now? Do you think in another 5-10 years we will still be together? We'll be able to hold a family? Like what he said, they know what they want. We women know what we want to. Okay, so if I have a friend and I know that all he does is clubbing, he never talks about the future, he never actually have a plan for his life, why do I want to settle with that kind of a person?
Do you know that men tend to go for what is around them, but women tends to look far? For example, when I was growing up, I believed that anyone around me is not for me. That we know each other, you know my family, you know my father, you know everything about me. So when I get married to you tomorrow, you tell me what to get me, you know I hate that one. You understand me? So I was thinking of going out there. I always tell them, see me, there is no husband around here. I'll just tell them I'm going far, so that nobody will tell me how I grew up. So you understand? But men can actually marry anybody they feel comfortable with. But we women, we are always intentional. Do you understand me? Yeah. No, you can't suggest. You disagree?
I don't really disagree, but I think we marry a women in quotes, that gives us peace. That's the most important thing for a guy. Peace.
Okay. Aside peace, you can have peace, but is marriage all about peace?
Basically.
For men, I would
say
say
a very big part of it.
Yeah.
No, I'm asking because my viewers will also ask. Is marriage all about?
For men, Men like peace of mind. Men want to do things and don't get bashed for it.
You can do anything.
Not anything. Not anything. No, not anything. Not anything. Not anything. I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying that, there's this nature in woman that we call nagging.
Oh
Okay.
my God.
That's another aspect.
That expression is not nice.
Yes, nagging can actually pull a man away from himself and shut that man down. There's, simple communications, and there's this oppressive kind of communication that doesn't go well with the man.
Do people sing that? I'm sorry.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh. Yes.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Because as much as you say men want peace, are you saying women don't want peace?
I've experienced marriages that the woman is peaceful, but the man is the problem.
Yes, it's up.
The man picks quarrel on anything. So it's not just about men looking for peace. Do that man also have peace?
Okay. All right, let's leave it at that. Now, I want to ask Muyo. Now, if you look at your environment, let's use the church as a church setting as an example.
Yeah.
What fears will you entertain if someone from your church says, okay, what kind of fears would first of all come to flash your mind?
To be honest, right? If someone in my church says, "Oh, they want us to be together," so the thing is, I have the advantage of just going to God to pray and be like,
Good.
"Is this what you want?" Because I'm not about to waste my time. Okay, so if I did not have that, my fear would have been, what if it doesn't work out? Because it will be awkward. We're in the same space. Am I going to be seeing you every time I come to church? Like, it's going to be so awkward, but I definitely will not put myself in that situation or that scenario. Because it's very easy. We're in the same church. You want to marry me. I can easily pray and ask, okay, is this, okay, I won't say let's leave prayer aside, right? But if for instance, we are not friends or probably we are just getting to know each other, I feel like there are things that this person is exhibiting that I'm not very certain with. It is a no. Like, maybe we attend the same church, you don't take things that I do seriously. For example, you don't believe in, what can I even say now? Probably commitment to your church, serving in church. You're just a.
So you believe in service a lot?
Yes, okay.
So, like, for us that don't serve, you think we're not serious?
So it's not like I don't think you are not serious, but then again, I just feel like I'm not saying that is a yardstick to judge. But for
But
me,
you're not a guy.
those
You're
are
not a
just
guy
things
that's
that-
committed to God.
You don't know.
Do you know that there are some?
No. I'm asking a question. You know what I'm asking? I've had situations where someone will tell me, I need to God fearing lady. But you see, the kind of perception, the kind of thing I see with that person does not show that he himself is God
It's
fearing.
God fearing. You can't give what you don't have.
You understand what I'm saying? That's one. Then secondly, again, see, let me throw it out. Now the thing is, for example, let's say a guy is not close to you in church. Yeah, you guys are not, because it's possible you're in church, you are not close. You understand? In our approaches, you are saying, I want to marry. How will you deal with that? You're not close, just like what you said, that it says maybe yes.
I mean, you don't just like marriage is not something that you stumble on. You don't understand. So there's a place.
All I mean is what's happening from far. That leads. You have talked to
Do you
your
know
pastor.
some
You
guys?
have talked to your lead. For example, my wife and we are not close. Until the time our marriage, the issue of marriage came, we have never been close.
But that's what I'm saying. You did not just say you've been observing her. You didn't just say.
I didn't
He
observe.
never observed me.
Okay, but I'm saying you didn't just say today I want to marry you today. You still got to know each other.
My friend, my pastor friend, Legion. Sorry, I mentioned it. So he introduced her to. In fact, I just came to meet. I was coming from sat that guy. He said, Oshoma, he calls me Oshoma. See my daughter. You don't like her. And that was it.
He said I was too fat.
And I said,
Yes,
she was
Yes,
fat. Yes.
Yes.
When you
I was very
No. My prospect was that she's like this, but after some time, 1, 2, 3 children.
okay,
she
now
I don't want something like that. But Thank God,
Oh,
God gets
thank
it.
God, look at that.
You get it. So it was my prayer, sha. You understand? So just that was what my pastor friend had said, and I said no, I don't want that. But I went just like what she said. I went to God in prayer, and God said, "Go ahead." And I didn't beat her. I still went back to say, "Okay, I'm interested." And from there, I told my pastor. My pastor now sent my pastor. And I met her. I was like, "This 6 months ago."
Okay, so
There was protocol.
God bless you. I was going to say that it did not just happen that there will be
Does
process.
that still
there will
happen
be-
today?
But what if it didn't work? Does it mean you are going to run away from the church or run away from the church?
Okay.
So I
Of
feel like
course.
that's where maturity comes into play. Because the fact that it doesn't, especially if I love my church, I will not leave my church.
No, of course you can't leave a church because somebody said no. Do you understand? I can't leave my church because someone said, okay, we were dating, so now we are done, then I'll leave the church.
That's
I have
from
a
you.
personal-
That's from you because it shows that I'm so sorry. It shows that you are a matured Christian.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
Let me pitch in with what you just said. I think when it comes to the issue of church and marriage, most young Christians are in a hurry. Do you
Okay.
get? And the truth is, time reveals true intention. And that's why in the church I attend, once you approach a lady and say, "Oh, you love her," and blah blah blah, the counseling is for 6 months. Do you understand? And most of the time, we realize that once he's entering the third, fourth month, certain reality of the person start dawning on you, and like most of the time, it breaks off at that particular time. So what I'm trying to say is, when a guy walks up to you and says, "Oh, I like you," this one and that, the first thing you need to do before even is for you to investigate the guy. And this is a problem most young Christians do have. A guy in church walks up to you, meet you, and say, "Oh, I like you," and you aren't walking up to your pastor to say, "Oh, sir, brother so said he likes me. What do you feel about it?" Because most of the time, the pastor knows a lot that
Yes,
you do not know about.
I want to ask you something. This question just came in as you're talking. Do you think the church is doing enough to bridge the gap between the married and unmarried in church?
How?
Well,
The perspective.
like what you just said. The guy who walks up to me today and say, "Oh, I like you," and then I walk up to my pastor. I mean, that is supposed to be to say, "Oh, brother so said he likes me." My, I'm supposed to mention.
Go ahead.
go ahead.
It's not
Right,
mention
just-
church.
I don't think. I mean, that's my right.
Angela, can you speak on that? You think the church is
But it
doing enough
depends
to
on
bridge the
you
gap?
didn't.
Okay, for
To bridge the
me,
gap between the married and unmarried.
I think it
There are too many there are too many unmarried guys and unmarried ladies in church
Yes.
today. So do you think in your own perspective, or I would want to see your own local assembly, with your understanding, do you think the church is doing enough to bridge that gap?
Okay, for me, I think the church that I do attend, I think they are trying their best.
Okay.
Do you understand? Because they are starting to realize that most of our ladies do go out to marry and they get hot. Do you understand? So now they're emphasizing on growing men that are responsible even outside the church. Do you get that's one? Then two, they are currently training women. Now what they do is they look for matured Christian women and they pay up. So you counsel this person, she's open to you, but the condition is they must not hear gossip from you.
Okay.
Do you understand?
So that's now let me comment. I love what you're saying. I love what you're saying. That's what we call mentoring, but in a different perspective.
Yeah.
Now I've seen churches where they marry themselves.
Mhm.
And that's something that is very good. You know why it's good? Let me explain something. Because they are listening to the same message.
Yes.
And the church will grow from that place. Now, so that's why I asked that question. Do you think that the church is doing enough? Because when we talk about the church, we're talking about not only your local assembly, because I'm globally connected. I go to a lot of churches and I have a lot of pastor friends. I go to so many churches. But I think the church is not doing enough.
But
Understand?
it's not all.
I'm not saying
Some-
it's all. You just
Just
have
like
it
you
as
just
this.
told us about
Yeah,
his
he's
own
saying
church.
that his church is
I also
fine.
just said something about my own church.
Yes.
Not all churches.
Not all churches.
Of course, not all church, but what I think is, if you yourself, you make up your mind. Like for me, I made up my mind to get married early. I told myself at 25, I
But
want
do
to
you know
get
the church
married.
played a role in how you got
Yes,
married?
yes, they did.
You understand what I'm
Did you
Because
get married at that age?
yes, I got married at 25. Got married at 25, exactly a week to my 25 years birthday, I got married. So I was intentional with the help of God. But the church I was going then, it was so difficult for me to achieve that dream. So I changed my church. I changed my church
Sorry, what do you mean? How do you mean it was difficult?
because I was attending, we kind of mention, I was attending a church that there's a lot of crowd. So you hardly
see
notice
you.
me. Even those that notice me are the married men. So I was like, I can't settle for this. So I moved to a church that there are more younger people that can see me. I changed my environment. I changed my church. So I was so intentional that this is what I want. So I changed my church. I changed where I was living. So it's not far anyway, but I just moved like from here to the next junction. So I relocated. So sometimes you've toiled too much on this mountain. Yes.
That's a very sensitive perspective,
Okay.
and I wouldn't want to I wouldn't want to dwell there because it will cause a rebound that.
No, I'm not saying you should leave your
No.
church.
It's what you said is practical.
Yes.
I talk about the environment, I talk about the environment, and your environment determines what you get. I'm telling you the basic truth.
Yeah.
Your environment determines what you get. I'm telling you the basic truth. How you harness your environment. If you're in a place and things are not working for you, and you have done everything, try and kind of reshuffle. That's what I call, So, but I don't want to go there because it costs a lot of people. And so, a lot of things that I don't want you understand. But I want us to.
Well, it's actually true.
Yeah.
I don't think it costs anything. It's just more shedding of light, but I mean, it's okay.
Yeah. I want to ask everybody that same question. Do you think that the church, the body of Christ, the pastors, the leaders of the church, are they doing enough to bridge the gap between the married and unmarried?
Honestly, I feel like it's the two-way thing.
Okay, all right.
There are some churches that, because I know a particular church who the pastor is very big on relationships and even single people getting into marriage together. However, I also feel like it still takes you as a person to determine or just be serious because there are a lot of people who, for instance, now if the church is trying, right, and the church is trying towards people who are not even probably serious to the point of commitment, it is still redundant. So that's why I feel like it's a two-way.
Did you hear what he said about nurturing? About him? Do you think he can work?
Yes, because I feel like that
Do
begins.
you think the church should adopt what he said?
Yes.
So, in the context you are saying, if they adopt what he's saying about mentoring, nurturing, you think it will be the gap?
Yes, so because I feel like that is preparation, right?
Exactly.
So it begins to open you up to imagine, oh, I have someone who is mentoring me about marriage. Oh, this is a book on marriage. This is a seminar on
And it's
marriage.
following
It
you up on
begins
it.
yes, it begins to open your mind somewhat. So yes, I feel like if a lot of churches adopt that,
It's actually makes
probably.
sense.
All right. So the reason I'm saying this is that because I have understanding of the reason why we are having divorce and people staying long before getting married is because there's not enough nurture. People, what the idea most of us have about marriage is what we see on social media and what we see maybe our parents or maybe someone we stay with also. But there are better things about marriage,
Yes.
and you can only see that when there's someone, just like what she has said, guiding you. If you don't have a guide, you will just be walking here and there aimlessly. And at the end of everything, you may not actually get it. You will see everybody knows what they want. But see, to get what you want is not even easy. You need somebody to guide you to get what you want. Look at what happened. I wanted to get married. She also was expected to get married. I never get wife. She never had a husband. It took one person to see, I see this thing. You understand me? And now went to God and said, okay, I started like that. You understand me? So, because mentoring is something that can, especially when it has to do with a Christian, setting. Mentoring is something that can actually take us to where God wants to take us to. If we don't get to the point where somebody say, okay, let me hold you by the hand and take you, very difficult. And that's why I have that question. You understand? I've been enjoying the discussion so far, and I know we still have a lot to talk about. But I want us to talk about the concept of attraction when it has to do with choosing a partner. Do you think attraction matters?
Very good.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Let me hear you.
Okay, so over time, you must have heard people, pastors say, marry who you love, marry who you're attracted to. I, for one, when I was growing up, I used to say that, "God forbid, I can't marry somebody that I, maybe just people copy the blood that I can't wrap my hand or just hold it to their hands and just. So if I'm not attracted to you in the first place, will you come to me?" Okay, so I also would say that I tell my friends that, and I think almost all ladies do this thing. If you don't like this person, you can't touch him, you can't sit close to him, you can't even. So, attraction is the first thing, even before we now start talking about who you are, what you value, and all of those things.
Okay.
So, if I don't like your person, what do you want to tell me? I'm going to leave you. And when you are
I want to ask you. Is it possible that attraction, someone on the first time you are not attracted to this, but as time goes on, is it possible that the attraction begins to grow? For example, maybe your height, and someone comes that is maybe shorter than you, and at the first, and as time goes on, I've seen it happen.
Yes.
Yeah. So as time goes on, you now began to see, and it's not bad,
I
bro.
know this person.
And this guy is not bad. You understand me? So
It's so
very
yes.
tall.
You don't have sense.
She's talking from experience.
So if you are looking for tall, dark,
An answer.
so tall, dark,
Yes. Nothing to offer.
nothing.
Empty
That
barriers.
you way you see very short people.
Yes.
They have something
Sense,
there.
yes. That's
So-
it's as if he has hope.
So it's not all about. See, for me, I used to tell my daughter that can marry Hausa, can marry
when we
Igbo,
try.
but just know what you want. She's just 10. But I do tell her that Hausa people, Christians, there's Southern Kaduna. The
Yeah.
daughter will say, Aboki. I said, no, there are good Christians in the north. Okay. So it's not all about tribe, it's not all about height, it's not all about. He said I was fat. For real, I was chopping. You understand? But when I started, now I want to even be that size. But I can't because with everything I take or the supplements, it's not working. Because my body has adjusted to this. So when you see somebody and you say she's too fat, it's too dark, it's too this, don't complain first. Get close to the person. Because actually those things you are looking at, you can be
Not
punished.
just a fast, yeah.
Yes, so
Height can height.
no. When height, you cannot be tall and be looking for somebody that is tall like you.
No, there's a lady I used.
Still look for somebody that
There's a
is
lady I was mentoring some time past, and when she looks at me and we discuss about marriage, and she say, Pastor, the kind of man I want to marry is just like a man like you that when I hold his arm, he has this chubby. Guess who he married?
very brief.
Short,
Or is a medical
small
The Lord is
stature,
good.
Hallelujah!
but the guy is a medical doctor, and the lady is doing very well. And this guy loves this lady.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's, I would use that to answer your question.
Why?
That, yes, it's very possible to see somebody for the first time and know they're attracted to them.
Good.
But God be praised if they can stay around for a bit, right? Because, let's say it's like an event and you just talk up to me. Of course, you're not supposed to just come to me directly at an event and say that. Maybe you just want us to be friends. It's okay. But like at first, I might just look at you and say, "Oh no." But then over time, conversations, it's very possible.
All right. So what about you? Attraction.
I also believe that attraction is progressive.
Okay.
Thank you.
It's possible to. I don't know. I want to come out and be like, oh, this is what I want in a man. But there are certain things I say that yes, I want in someone. But I remember in the year, I think 2020, I was traveling to, I think, Calabar, and I met someone in the airport. And this person is screaming everything that I do not necessarily want. But I realized that over time, when we spoke, I just realized that sometimes life is deeper than these
Sure.
physical features that we are looking at,
Sure,
right?
sure, sure.
So yeah, attraction is progressive.
What would you say to that?
Okay, I wanted to say attraction is relative and it
Okay.
moves with time, experience, and awareness. Do you understand?
Okay.
And for me, I think I've stopped saying I want a tall lady, I want a chubby lady and the rest. I've stopped saying that because I've come to realize that the body size of a woman, now I'm saying it with respect to women, changes.
Sure.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
Likewise, men. A guy that is slim, tall, with a flat chest, once he gets married, the
I have pot
African
belly.
pot belly start coming out.
So I tell you to look.
Do you understand? Then apart from that, a lady when she gets pregnant and she goes through the pregnancy, her body changes.
Changes.
Do you understand? So if you base your attraction based on the physical, you realize that after the first child, you tend to lose the feeling that you have for the person. Then let me just end it there.
But I'm also going to say that it doesn't mean that. So we're not saying don't go for someone you are not attracted to.
Yes.
But we're just saying don't be limited in your mind. So you're saying, oh, I want someone who's tall, I want someone who's dark, and that's the reason you're still single because like you are so fixed on this particular.
Exactly. So when the
Right.
person coming is not like that, you just box
You
the
can
person
lose
off.
out on that.
Yeah.
However, please, it's still necessary to be attracted to the person that you are with.
Sure. So, like just you said, attraction is
Progressive.
progressive. You said it's a relative. I agree because you see, I don't believe one should base his choice on attraction as much as it's important. Now, there's an English word that says, "Don't judge a book by its cover." Sometimes small, big packages come in, big things comes in small packages. You understand me? So it's always very good when one opens him or herself to just, being able to, try to know. If you just decide and say, okay, this is the type of person I want and all those things, it's good, it's not bad. Like, I don't want a fat person, I have the same me that said she's too fat. Later, when we started and before we even go married, I already said, if you hear me call my wife DL, there's a meaning of that. That word came before we got married. So, as time goes on, things might become attractive to you. And so that's my. Then I want to ask this question. Because most of the time, I used to tell my children, I said, if you make a mistake, start from yourself. If you make a mistake about something or things are not going well, don't begin to look at your external. Look at internal first. I want to ask a question. And that question is very important to me. I want to ask Moyo, can you marry someone like yourself? Imagine you look at yourself like, can you marry someone like yourself? What are the features you think are good? So can you look at yourself and say, okay, I'm ready, I'm someone I can marry?
Honestly, I realize that there are few areas in my life where I am not the version of myself that I want to be.
Okay.
However, I also realize that I am trying to be that person, right?
Okay.
I haven't attained perfection. And I mean, we're not really perfect people, right?
Sure.
So probably that's a tricky question. Because in some areas, yes, I will want somebody like myself. In some areas, no, because no. No. If I'm being honest, no. But when it comes to like values that I uphold,
Okay.
my values that I uphold, yes, I can marry someone because I mean, one thing that's very important to me is someone that I'm going to be with is shared values,
Sure.
right? So if I am seeing someone who shares same values as I do, yes,
Okay.
I will. But I also realize that there are aspects of myself that I haven't gotten to. So in those aspects, I would say no.
Now I want to ask you a very tricky question as a follow-up to that. This is practical. Now, imagine someone comes to you and said, I want to marry Moyo. I want to marry. See, these are questions that prepares you. It makes you realize that it's like there are some people are see what people see about you. It's what you may not realize. People judge you by every of your move. They judge you by every of your move. Those move that you don't calculate. They help you calculate them. And they conclude without even hearing from you. You understand me? They conclude without hearing from you. You understand what I'm saying? No, so a girl will look at you and say, you look at yourself, I have everything, I have a good job, I have a car, I have a house, and you believe, okay, this lady is just supposed to fall for me. You won't talk like this, one swing, she will just say yes. And you get there and you say, who are you? Where do you come from? What's your name? I get away from. And you look at me, and you look at yourself again, and you remember where you're coming. Remember all your, all your values and everything, and all your worth. And you say, why can this girl speak to me like that? Not knowing that perception of people is different from the way you see yourself. Someone will ask this question. If someone comes to you and say, okay, Moyo, I want to marry. I want to marry Moyo. Would you recommend yourself to that person? Because if you don't, then that means there are some things that you need to deal with.
Almost everybody has something.
I know nobody is perfect. As I am not perfect. But when it was time for me to get married, I had no house. Let me tell you the truth. I used to say it proudly. As at the time I was squatting with a friend's family. I had no house. I have no job. I have no property to myself. But I knew it was time to get married. So ask me how I was.
That's crazy.
Disclaimer, don't try it in Nigeria of today. Don't try it.
You know what I'm trying to say? See, I'm not trying to say, because we are talking about perfection. I wasn't perfect when I got married, but I knew that I was ready to marry. The problem with marriage today is that you guys are looking at perfection. You're not looking at preparation.
No, can I
Go
come
ahead.
in there? I think you were mentally ready for marriage.
That is where I'm
That
going.
is different, because you see, there are a lot of guys that would do the same thing you did and will end up putting themselves and their wife in trouble.
All right.
Do you understand what I'm trying
All
to
right.
say? Now, when it comes to marriage, it's not all about finances. You
Okay.
both can grow your finances. It's not about property. You both can buy property.
All right.
Do you understand? It's about your mentality, your mindset.
Okay.
Do you get what I'm trying? How matured are you? How can you tolerate this woman?
Okay.
What is your vision? Do you get? Because I believe that before I walk up to a lady, I must already know where I am going to in life. Do you understand? And when I walk up to the lady, I'll tell her clearly, this is my vision in life. Do you see yourself aligning in it, or are there adjustments that we need to sit down and make? Do you get? And I'm believing that before she could say yes, you must have spewed out your vision for her.
I did.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So she saw your vision. She saw it like, this is something I can live in. Do you understand what I'm saying? And she aligned herself with it. And that's why you are where you are today. So it's not just all about, when I was married, I didn't have property. There are a lot of people that tried it until today, they don't have property.
That's where I'm going. Now let me explain.
There are some that had lots.
And later, they don't
They
have
drop.
money.
That's where I'm going. See, there are some things that are important when you want to get married. It's just because we are built. That's what I'm trying to correct here. I'm not trying to say, okay, you are perfect or you are not perfect or anything. The perception that you are not perfect is the problem. Because when I'm going for a job interview and I look at myself as not ready for that, I will lose that job. Because they will ask me some questions, and even if I know those questions, I will fail that question. I've been to so many interviews. Because I'm not there, I don't believe I'm there. When some things, before we got married and some things began to happen, and I called her aside, I said, Madam, listen to me, I'm very proud. I'm sorry to say, I don't have anything, but I'm very proud.
Vision is killing me.
You understand me? So when things began to happen and some people began to bring up doors, Konisha, this one, that one, I called her and I said, Madam, I said, I'm not saying that you should not listen to them. I said, but if you go, I'm not going to come back. And I tell you, the date you are fixed for our marriage, I'm going to get married. And I told her. And we're talking about, okay, postponing till next year. I said, if we postpone to next year, I will not marry. I said it. I don't have anything. But I don't know. I was just so full of myself. And she was asking me, I said, there's a company I want to work. There's this one, there's that. And truly, before we got married, I got a job. A very good job. A very, very good job. You understand what I'm saying? A very good job that within 6 months, everything became settled. The same guy that has no house that. So what I'm trying to say is that what we are calling perfection is not really perfection. Sometimes you are set. Your mindset is already set for marriage. But okay, so what do you do? What's your plan? What's your vision? He doesn't have a vision. It's not because she doesn't have a vision, but because she believes that that vision is not vision. Okay, like when she met me and I don't have a job, she asked me and I told her my vision. These are part of the vision. This is part of the vision. Ask her. This is part of the vision. But it didn't come easy. In fact, now it's still not coming easy. But this is part of the vision. You understand? So you must be able to look at yourself and say, okay, this is what I have. This is what I have. I'm enough. Then if you don't have, then you begin to develop those things because challenges will come when you enter into a relationship. Challenges will come. So that's why I asked that question. Can you recommend yourself to somebody for marriage? It's a question you need to ask yourself and sit down and begin to develop yourself to the point where if, okay, for example, now you want to employ somebody for a job and you have a company, can you employ yourself? It's the same thing. Can you employ yourself? You invest 1 million, 1 billion in a business and say, okay, Joseph, come and take over. When you look at yourself and say, okay, I am fit to do that job, and you will not ruin your own job. So that's marriage. That's the question we need to answer. You understand me? I'm sorry I have to go that route, but everybody's just quiet. You want to say something?
No, I said it's okay. You were saying yes, it's okay.
No. I'm not only saying my story. I'm just saying that people don't know that they are ripe for marriage. They are only looking at, okay, married. Yeah. Until you begin to see yourself and this thing, I'm capable of doing it. When I started my life, I was doing generator. One day I called my wife and said, Madam, generator is not selling again. I want to enter home appliances. I don't know. I went on YouTube. I began to learn on YouTube. I learned how to repair washing machine. I learned how to repair electronics. I've known it before, but I just need to brush up. I began to, and today I'm an expert. Solar, nobody taught me. Even though I was doing inverter with Tamoko, solar, nobody taught me. I've collected contracts in millions. How you get what I'm trying to say? If you think you are not enough, you will never be enough. And nobody will call you. Nobody will call me now and tell me, Joseph, come and do this washing machine. If I don't believe in myself, I can't do it. I've done a lot of contract for companies. Why? Because I believed in myself and I was able to get myself out. You understand me? So I think married people are not getting married because you get to the point where you meet the right man, but you can't defend yourself. And the guy you're just talking, like what he said, you don't align with my vision. Why? Because he's sorrow. You can't present yourself. You get what I'm saying? How do you know that a lady does not align with your vision? How would you know? It's discussion.
It's not just mainly discussion. It's about a body reaction.
The same thing, the way she carries herself.
Not just the way she carries herself. I can be discussing with Moyo, and Moyo can deceive me in the discussion. You get? Now, apart from that, it has to do with track record.
Okay.
Do you get? There are certain things that were asked her, oh, what do you have to say about this and the rest? And from the way she responds, I can, okay, this and this. No, she says she wants to align with my vision, but no. There's something fundamentally wrong there. Do you get? Then apart from that, it's not just about you spoke earlier. I want to chip in something. You were teachable. You had this teachable spirit.
Yeah, sure.
You get, and I think that's something you also need to add to what you said, that you were teachable. Most people in our generation are not ready to be taught, even by their partner. And that's why you have a lot of ladies that respect pastors more than their husband. Do you get? So being teachable is also a plus there.
Okay. All right. I think I understand. So let's progress. Let's leave that angle now. Have you ever been in a situation where I want to ask generally now? There are some situations where you meet someone and you want to talk about relationship. You understand me? Because I'm trying to have an overview of relationship, how it materializes. Like getting into the point where you tell a partner, okay, I like you, I want to marry you, and all those things. So now, have you ever gotten to the point where you have to say, okay, God said to a lady or to a guy, and their reaction is like, You know, the like what she
They're
said.
not agreeing to the what God said.
Yeah.
To be honest, I've been in a situation like that where he felt like he wanted to get married to me, but I didn't feel like so initially I didn't feel like I even trusted him enough to lead a family. But aside from that, genuinely speaking, I went to pray about it and like the revelation that I had, I knew that it was a no-no. And I went back to him to tell him that I'm sorry, it cannot really work. Clearly, he did not take it well. In short, he even went to tell my pastor, like he got that serious. But because I knew what I heard and I was certain about what I saw, I wasn't going to. I'm not even going to like part of me because we started off as friends, right? And I mean, affection had grown and all of those things. But I think something because I usually think about my future. I'm not thinking about like the now.
Okay.
So when I have a conviction that this is what God has said, I run with my conviction. If you're not okay with it, I'm really, really sorry.
For me, it was not just, I don't know if I should say, like that peace. When you're with someone, when someone is in your space or you guys are, I feel like there should be that peace, even without exactly maybe getting a word from God or something like. I don't want to explain it. You're asking me out, we're friends, and we're talking about marriage. I should feel, I don't know if that's right.
Yes, yes,
I
I
should
understand.
feel like, yes, this is it, yeah. But with this person, he was all over me, he was always around. We were always talking, we shared prayer points, Bible verses, we pray together. He was always saying, "Oh, he likes me, he wants to," but I was not just having that peace. I was not just seeing that this person like that. As much as I really, really like him.
So I believe that peace in itself is a way that God also
Yes,
uses.
yes, 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 yes.
So
Yes.
sometimes it's not that it's not just about a revelation or a dream that you
Is
had.
it peace or anxiety?
No, not anxiety. I think it's
I
possible
wasn't
that
just feeling there with this person. I was just
yeah,
not
there's
saying
this
noise like that.
sense of relaxation where
Yes.
you are when something just feels okay,
Yes.
feels
Like
right. The atmosphere is just
settled.
okay,
I think
settled
settled
exactly.
in my mind. Just be like, okay, yes, this is what God wants me to do. This is who I know. It was not just there.
All right. So I want to ask a question, which is going to be the wrap up for us. Now the question is this: can you marry from your church?
Yeah, you're about to say no.
No, no, no. I'm just smiling. I'm just smiling.
Can you
Okay,
marry
so I
some?
should look at my church right now or like
Nature. You don't say anything
Can
now.
the church, as wherever church that you find yourself, just like what she said earlier on, but I want a practical discussion on that. Can you go for someone? Okay, for example, you met this guy in the church and you guys like each other. Can you marry?
I'll answer it in two ways.
Okay,
I would love to.
okay.
But I would love to. There's a
She
but.
says two ways, so she's always giving us one.
I would love to.
Okay.
I mean, someone in my church, like we're saying, we have aligned values. We see ourselves going same direction. I would love to. There's no point having to move around or anything, right? But I've also come to understand that church these days is a clinic, is an hospital.
Okay.
It's not everyone that is responding to treatment.
Joy.
Thank you very much for saying that.
Yes.
So that's actually a problem. You see, I'm not even going to do a gender based thing right now, but just like the questions you've been asking, can you recommend yourself? Do you think you're there? In fact, mentally and spiritually and otherwise. So I see a guy in my church and I know that I have my things that I'm dealing with. I know what he has is. So what do I know that his own stuff that he's dealing with actually that will make me want to feel like okay, yes, I can settle with this person. I mean, I listened to I think Pastor Kingsley one time and he says he has a son that the sickness he has, he calls it I think 3 months or 6 months sickness. He dates ladies for 3 months or 6 months and then after that he just moves on. So that's his own sickness. That's probably what God has not, helped him deal with or is still healing him from. So we all have something we're dealing with, but then if I see someone is in my church is yielding to treatment like one just said, why not?
Okay, can you marry someone from your church? Let's be fast, please.
Okay. Me, I think yes. And I think the basic thing is not whether the person is from my church or not.
Okay.
The basic thing is genuine friendship.
Okay.
Because you
Okay.
see, after the first 2 years of marriage, you see the old butterfly thing
Sure,
well.
sure.
And so what comes into place? Intentionality
Sure.
and friendship. Okay, so if I do have that genuine friendship with the lady, why not? If our value aligns together, why not?
All
Do you
right.
get? But it's just that in such situation, you should expect a lot of interference.
Okay.
Do you get?
Interference from
In
where?
the sense that a lot of people are going to pull out in your relationship.
Okay.
Like, oh, see you guys holding hands together, very done nonsense.
I
So
faced it.
do you understand? So if both of you are willing to work on that, I'm like, okay, you know what? A lot of people are going to say a lot of things, but as long as we keep our relationship out of the
The
reach of
circle.
church, you get? They know we're dating. We know that, of course, if you're dating in church, there has to be an accountability partner in place to watch over us. Do you get? So why not? Yes, I can.
All right. Moyo,
I can't marry someone from my church.
you can or you can't?
I can.
Okay.
I can marry someone from my church. I don't think that is. I don't even say anything wrong in marrying someone from your church.
Okay.
I think that for me, it's just to be led by God, whether you're in my church or not in my church. So if God is saying, "Oh, this person is," will I now say, "Oh no, it's from my church," or no? So
But have you ever had someone say I can't marry somebody from my church? You've
I
never
don't
had it
understand
before.
why you wouldn't want to marry.
You've
From
never had it before.
I don't think I have.
Okay.
I don't know if I have, but I think people do that a lot, which is the reason why you will see guys going out
To get
So I think that happens because like if we're in a church and I don't see, for instance, I don't see someone who I feel like I can marry. I will go out now.
not in our church. I've heard people say, you ladies are too proud, or you ladies, I don't know, even when we're in West, I heard a lot of guys will say things like, they don't smile, they are not accommodating. And so you see them go out and, you can't get married and bring some ladies. Same thing with ladies. I don't know what the excuse for ladies are though, but I see ladies also maybe meeting some guys outside and get married and then
So the thing is, we want to say something. So you see, the thing is this, we have different perception when it comes to different understanding when it comes to choosing a partner. You understand? There are people that believe that if you are close enough, you are too close to me, I can't marry you. And church is a very close environment. You understand? It's a close environment. You know my father, you know my brother, we are in the same. So some people are even extremely close. I say, you understand me? And so because of that, familiarity, you understand me? And so that's the angle I'm coming from. But I also believe that church is a place where we associate. And whatever association, maybe in business, environment, or anything, it's a good place to choose your partner. Going outside, you are going to meet someone you don't even see every day. You don't even know you can choose from your street, you can choose from your neighbor, you can choose from your business environment, you can choose from your church. But you see, but there are people that believe that no, we are seeing each other day every day, we know each other and all those things. So, so
I think the problem. No. I think
exactly like that. Or say somebody you're friend with. When some people say, I can't believe my friend, I'm like, do you want to marry your enemy?
you understand?
I think the reason for that is because you know the person flaws, and you also understand that the person
The
knows
person you
your
want to go and
flaws.
marry,
No. With time, no. With time, that's why you notice that, especially the first 3, 4, 5 years of marriage, is always filled with a lot of arguments.
yeah.
After the first year, do you get? Because you start realizing the flaws. Do you understand what?
Yeah.
And that's what most people do not realize. Someone that already knows your flaws, already knows everything about you.
Yeah.
But most time, people feel insecure.
He knows too much.
Do you get? She knows too much. But at the end of the day, the person that whether you go out or you go in, they'll still end up knowing your flaws.
All right, thank you very much. I'm so glad we did a lot of justice to this discussion, and I believe the audience have gotten more than enough. We can't actually exhaust this topic. We can't exhaust it. 2 editions is still not enough, but to the best of our knowledge, we've done. And I believe that we're going to have a very singles conference coming very soon. And these are topics we're going to be talking about. We're working on it very well. So the conference is coming up mainly for singles. My passion presently borders on singles. And also next week's Thursday, I'm having an Instagram live discussion with one of my pastor friends from Canada. He's also into a relationship, and one of my friends from Unilag. So, because you see, I began to see a lot of narrative that actually we need to change and see how we can effect changes in those things. And so, one person cannot do it, we have to be together. So, I appreciate your coming to this place. You've been a blessing to Jesus and Friends Relationship Podcast. And I'm sure that when we call you again, you will come.
Sure.
Okay.
Yes,
Thank you for coming. And Jola Oluwa, I'm so glad I have to have you.
Thank you,
And
man.
I really saw your passion. So I appreciate that.
Thank you, sir.
I'm actually
Thank you,
going to call you again.
No problem.
Maybe I'll just be only you and I.
No problem.
We have a lot to discuss. Moyo, thank you.
Thank you.
Moyo is very agile. She's good on relationship. I've heard her speak so much. And don't worry. Get yourself prepared for our conference. So I'll give you 10 or 15 minutes.
1 hour.
What else you want me? Thank you very much. It's a great time having you to watch, and I assure you that this is just not the end. We have more coming in, and so I want you to know that relationship can work if you work on yourself and believe in yourself also. There is no relationship too big, and there's no relationship too small. All you need to do, invest in yourself and connect with the right people. Create a good environment, and you see yourself excelling. Once again, this is Joseph Oshoma Itsegbe, the anchor of Jesus and Friends Outreach Ministry. And I'm so glad to have you. Please share this video and subscribe, and make sure you watch. Share with your family, share on your church WhatsApp, share on your social media. And please, like I said, go and read the book, Assumption, The Enemy of Sincere Love. Go and read online on Amazon. It's still there. You can also download on eBay. They will allow you to read the first 2 chapters. Then the other ones, you have to pay for them, please. Then very soon, the book is coming out. By the time we are doing our conference, the book will be out. God bless you. Hope to see you again. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.